Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Michael Spano, founder of Agents of Real Estate, and today we got a really special guest, Julian Parentela from Le Jardin Banquet Hall Hospitality Service and also Hotel V in Vaughan on Highway 27. Julian, thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why don't you tell? I'd like to start off with how you got into this. How did you get to this point today with your business in Vaughan?
Right. So obviously it was a family business.
Okay.
Very, very well known. I've known you my whole life.
Yeah.
So, but for the people that don't know, Le Jardin, Château Le Jardin, it was Le Jardin Banquet Hall. Now it's Château Le Jardin event venue. Went through a few different iterations of names. Obviously a couple different renovations, one in 2000 and another one in 2006. But for the longest time in Vaughan, I mean, it was Wonderland and it was Le Jardin.
Yeah.
Two of the institutions. It was a very people don't know Woodbridge, don't know Vaughan before it was developed. Those are the two places.
You're right. Yeah, it's been around forever.
Yeah. And whenever I ask people, if they ask me what I do, and I say Le Jardin, do you know it? Most people have at one point or another. It's like a rite of passage. Have been there for something. If it's a prom, if it's a wedding,
a stag,
a sacrament, a stag, you name it. So. We've been serving the community for about since 1985.
Wow.
My grandfather bought the land in 85, one-room event space. My father took over actually in, I think it was 1990, right when I was born, took over. And, I was working there since I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he put me in there when I was a baby, washing dishes.
So for the record, that was my first paid check job.
Right.
Ever, Le Jardin.
Yeah.
I remember I was grade 7, 13 years old.
A dishwasher.
Yeah.
Right.
I was washing dishes and I was setting up. Actually, you guys had a golf course too at that time.
Hunter's Glen.
Hunter's Glen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to set up tables and wash dishes.
Yeah.
They used to call me Mighty Mouse. Max.
I remember
Max used to call me Mighty Mouse.
Right. Yeah. Max was us for quite a long time. But at that point, my dad was branching off into different hospitality ventures. He was running the hospitality for the golf course, hospitality for, I think, the Hershey Center.
Oh, okay.
And a few other places. And then I was always sort of involved, starting from setup, cleanup. First thing I did, I think, was scrape gum off of 70,000 square foot of event space. Scrape gum.
Yeah.
For hours. That's all I had to do. And I never, as much as people, not to assume, but sort of things were handed to you. That wasn't the case. If you know my dad,
You got to work.
My dad, you got to work.
Yeah.
You got to earn your stripes, and he's not going to give you anything. You got to take it. You got to scratch and claw. He's got to see that you deserve it, that you've earned it, type of thing, right? So
makes sense.
100%.
Makes sense.
And
now you run it by yourself?
Yeah. So my father retired May 2022.
Okay.
So I took over. We have two arms: hospitality division and development division.
Okay.
I'm now president general manager of Château Le Jardin, event venue, and principal of our development company. So
okay. And the development company is Hotel V.
So it's 27 developments.
Okay.
And our project that we're undergoing right now, that we're a few weeks away from digging.
Nice. Okay.
Is Hotel V.
How many years in the making is that?
My dad conceptualized the idea, I think, in 2000. I remember him first saying it. It was at dinner where he was saying, "I want to build a hotel." Always wanted to build this hotel. It was a thing. I always knew it eventually was going to happen. So he's been working on that since 2000. I think it first started off as a Courtyard Marriott, but then, and I got to give him full credit for this. Now, I'm conductor of the train.
Right.
But, I'm only able to do that because he brought us to the point where it was possible. He conceptualized the whole idea. I mean, we're talking, spa, a wine club, a rooftop pool, a restaurant.
So 23 years in the making, technically.
23
and still
years
not even just about to dig right now.
Just about to dig right now.
So is that, on a side note here, is that how long it takes in Vaughan to build?
Well,
because we've been hearing it takes about 15 years for developers to that's the average for permits, for
100%. Vaughan's notorious, for the city for moving quite slow. They want to dot I's and cross T's.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of politics. There's a lot of nuances as far as
procedure and
you just gotta follow procedure. Some cities are different. This is the way Vaughan is. So, unfortunately or fortunately, we had a lot of receptive people at the city. They want Le Jardin's been around for quite a long time. The project just makes sense to have an extension, a hotel extension. You know, and the city was very receptive. They were very helpful, and we're grateful for, you know, everybody that's been part of the project.
Well, you've been a part of it for a long time, right?
Right, 100%.
You know, small business in Vaughan for a very, very long time. How big is the hall now? The Le Jardin.
So the
Château Le Jardin.
So 74,000 square feet of
Total
space.
Floor space.
But event space, it's about 38 to 40,000.
It's pretty big.
Pretty big. Yeah.
It's an acre.
So sitting on a couple acres.
Yeah.
So ideally, we want to develop those other 2 acres of ours to the west side of the property. That's where hotel is. And then we have a few ideas for expansion, commercial space, maybe office space. You know, don't want to say right now.
Yeah, down the road. Yeah.
But down the road, you know, we still have about another 8 acres there that we want to develop.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Hotel V is going to take up some space and it's going to start digging. How did that work? 'Cause I know that some people invested in it. So I was under the impression it was a per unit basis. People were buying units or something.
Right.
But,
no. So
it wasn't. It was more of an equity.
Exactly. They purchased equity stakes in there. So they share in the performance of the hotel.
Beautiful.
So essentially, it's the same thing as you know, as a startup, as raising funds, pre-IPO type of thing. Should you say? I don't want to muddle the terminology for anybody because I know it's a pretty tight rope that we're walking on here. So I don't want to mess anything up there. But essentially, they purchased shares. They purchased equity in the hotel project.
Okay.
So they share in the performance of the hotel. And, you know, the reason why we did that is because soft cost for this hotel is about $15 million.
Okay.
Of course,
that's 1.5.
1.5. I know, to date, we spent 1.5.
Okay.
And, you know, we're talking about consultants, development charges, permit applications,
yeah.
You know, just conceptualizing the architectural drawings, you know, we brought on Hilton. There's an application fee for that. We're flying the Hilton flag. Hilton is...
So they're going to be running it?
Hilton is our flag. They're our hotel brand. So and they have a bunch of sub brands underneath them. The one we chose is Curio.
Okay.
So we're Curio by Hilton, and Curio allows for creative freedom. So they allowed, for example, it's not going to be called the Hilton. It's going to be called Hotel V, by Curio by Hilton. So right. So they allow you to design how you want to design within a certain framework.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some parameters that they've established.
Of course. Yeah. You have to be in line
based on this arm of theirs.
Exactly. You have to be in line with their brand, but they've been quite understanding and quite receptive to, you know, the design ideas that we have. You know, they know what we want to build. We show them the designs that we have, and they're very receptive to it. They've accepted it. So
do they also participate to help you understand also what's going to work with
100%.
Sizes and positioning of certain things in the building?
Exactly.
Amenities for people using it.
Sure. 100%. So there's a whole wide range of consultants that we had to bring on board because this is our first hotel, and it's a beast.
How many rooms?
254 rooms.
Wow.
54 offices, all the amenities I just mentioned, you know, the restaurant, and having all these amenity spaces with the hotel, with the banquet hall run congruently and efficiently.
It's amazing.
It's difficult.
Conferences. It's got to be a lot of work.
So you not only need to leverage the experience of a brand like Hilton, but you have to bring on a hotel management company that's been doing it. We brought on Hotel Equities.
Okay.
Who runs about, they have a massive portfolio. I don't want to say the number to get it wrong, but a massive portfolio in Canada, a massive portfolio in the United States. They're a Hilton approved management company, which is big as well. The architects we brought on have built hotels, and, you know, you have an idea for rooms or for this, and they tell you, you know, listen, this is more or less the road you should be going towards, because
we have the experience. This is, you know, what we suggest.
Exactly. Yeah, they have the parameters, they have the suggestions, and, you know, when my father and me were designing it, our ideas are grandiose.
Yeah, of course.
You know my father. He wants it to be this whole thing, but all these things to have all these amenities and the rooms and the guest experience to run congruently and efficiently. You know, you have to leverage that experience, and you have to, you know, follow certain parameters. So we did. Design is final. You know, thanks to the consultants and everybody that we have.
That's awesome. So you're about to start digging shortly.
A few weeks now.
A few weeks.
God willing.
And how long do you think it'll take to be finished?
They say 24 to 30 months. So it's called 2 years.
I'd call it 3.
I'd call it 3. Ideally, it's not going to happen, but ideally, December 2025, going into 2026.
We know construction.
On New Year's, oh yeah.
There's always something, whether it's the winter weather, whether it's employment. There's all kinds of stuff that slows down a project.
100%.
And, you know, so many things you change along the way. Like I even
Yeah.
tell people when they do custom homes,
Oh.
it's like you come up with a budget of say 400 or 500 square foot.
Yeah.
It's never enough.
No.
It's never complete at that price. You know, you want to change something and it's always going to take longer.
Exactly. Well,
So that's okay.
that's what contingencies are for in,
Yeah.
in the budget. But yeah, we have a budget right now. And until we actually tender the job, we're not going to know exactly what it is.
That's good.
Within,
That's good.
within a certain percentage, we, you know, plus or minus, we'll have an idea.
So that's
but
just some exciting stuff coming up.
it's exciting.
Yeah. It's exciting. Do I
exciting.
get free hotel stays
Absolutely.
for life?
Absolutely, my friend. You know you will. You know you will.
I live very close by, so it doesn't really matter. But that would
No,
be
of
really
course.
nice. Huh?
Of course, of course. I mean, you know, for the grand opening, I've envisioned this for years. The grand opening, you know, it's going to be everybody that we know, the community, our friends, family. Obviously, you know, I've known you my whole life. You're obviously going to be there.
got friends,
you and
yeah.
your family, everyone's going to be there. But yeah, I mean, just being able to see that the restaurant running, you know, the marché running, I envision it every single day.
It's
The drink on the rooftop pool, the wine club. I mean, it's just going to be like, I just can't wait. It's
gonna be nice.
Such a big piece of me, and I gave such a big piece of myself to it that to finally see this thing built
That's pretty
and
exciting.
operational, man. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man.
That's pretty
It's gonna be
exciting.
exciting. Yeah.
So you've been a part of the Vaughan for a long time.
Yeah.
What would you share with someone who's coming to Vaughan to start a business? Like I know it's tough. And any business is tough.
Right.
But in general, what about Vaughan stands out to you, or that you would know that nobody else would?
In any business, my suggestion would be to fill a void, to solve a problem.
Okay.
That's any business.
Okay.
You don't. I wouldn't suggest anybody start a business without actually number one. You have to do your market research. You have to test and see. You can't just open a restaurant if you don't know anything about a restaurant.
Of course.
You have to play to your strengths. Number one, but depends what you want to do. I would suggest leveraging experience from people who are in that industry.
Okay.
Number one. The second thing I would suggest is, you know, fill a void. Find
Something people need and fill
don't
it.
just jump on a trend.
Correct.
Just jump on a trend. I mean, I see so many people, you know, they're wanting to get into construction, or they're wanting to get into this, they're wanting to get into that. You know, some people are successful,
Or they see it going.
some people are not. But the most successful people that I know are the people that solve a problem and solve a problem well.
Makes sense.
Do your research, figure out what it is, and you know, and make sure that it's a problem that enough people have. I would identify a problem in your own life. You know, something you look at something that, how can I make this better for myself? You know, do other people have that problem? Can I make this into a business? Then you do your market research.
Interesting. Okay.
How much is it going to cost me? How much can I sell it for? This and that. You know, test it out within a certain radius of people. Maybe you could get a few friends, a few family on board, and see if it vibes with them, and then you scale it from there, type of thing. But you know, just Vaughan and anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Okay. So it seems like you have a lot on your plate between these two businesses, or these two endeavors that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges you faced when you started this business, or when you started getting into taking over from your dad and
Right. So
really hit the ground running?
it wasn't the traditional baton handoff.
Okay.
From father to son. We had a personal matter that happened where I was sort of thrusted into it.
Okay.
And you know, like I mentioned before, my father, you have to grab and take responsibility. If it's up to him, I'd still be doing setup.
Yeah.
Downstairs,
Okay. Yeah.
just waiting for him to promote me or to give me responsibility. So, you know, there were certain facets of the business that I didn't know. You know, accounting, for example, nothing.
Okay.
The details, you know, of our mortgage with our lender, knew nothing about that either. And then when I was sort of thrusted into it, there was the feeling of, I'm in, pardon my language, I'm in the ocean with a ton of sharks, and I don't have the ability to let those sharks take me. I have to kill those
You felt
sharks.
the pressure.
Yes, but there was no option for failure. I had to learn quick. And for me, that's the best thing that's ever happened. Thrusted responsibility. So it depends, I guess, sort of on your personality. Are you able to handle that pressure immediately and succeed? Or will it crush you?
Will it break you? Yeah.
Will it break you? That was the biggest hurdle, getting over that static friction. And, you know, in that, you learn a lot about yourself. You know,
Well, speaking of hurdles, I was curious to know, during COVID, what happened to the banquet hall? to the event center.
Right. So
How did that affect that?
that was also another big thing for sure. That was
Because that's got to be a setback for, obviously, for a lot of people. But in
For-
the food industry,
Right.
events, we couldn't gather.
we pivoted pretty well.
Okay.
So we pivoted pretty well. I mean, we had a good marketing department. I leveraged our marketing department, our graphic designers, myself, my experience, to help people build websites. You know, these are all different sources of income.
Oh, okay.
Help
So
people-
outside,
Yeah.
other businesses
Yeah.
in the community.
We're helping people market.
Oh,
selling
nice,
their service.
okay.
We also pivoted. We're doing a lot of takeout. We leveraged Uber Eats. We leveraged, our massive network with our clientele to see if they need takeout services as well. It was a massive hit. Our core business, what we typically do, we're never going to get back to where we were prior to COVID. But during COVID, same thing, fight or flight. You got to figure it out. The lender, we have a mortgage to pay every month. We have bills to pay every month. We got to figure out how to facilitate that, how to take care of that.
What about the people in the community that had bookings, say for a wedding or for a stag or, some sort of important event? Yeah.
Right. That was
Put a
massive
deposit
hurdle.
down. That's a great question. So I would love to know that. You've
That
got the
was-
inside scoop on it, right? So, I'd love to know how it worked out. Because you hear the horror stories, right? You hear,
Right.
I have a deposit down, they don't want to give it back, or they want to put it towards something else, or how does that work?
Number one,
I'm
I
holding
watched-
you.
yeah, this is a lot.
I'm holding your feet to the fire here. Right?
Number one, I watched other banquet halls fail.
Okay.
I watched how they failed, how the
Their
blowback,
behavior.
how the blowback came onto them, and I'm like, we can't do that. We can't afford the blowback. We can't afford these 1-stars, this and that.
Interesting.
So what I did, unfortunately, we had to get rid of a lot of people. I kept my core team on. We had strict messaging from ourselves, from Château Le Jardin to clients. A lot of other banquet halls were, saying you have to pay this balance on this date. They weren't malleable whatsoever. We were very malleable. We allowed people to change their date if it was in the same calendar year.
Okay.
No penalty, no premium added on top of it. But if it was year over year, there was a slight premium, especially if they're a February event and they want to move to next year, July, of course, because July is more expensive than February.
Okay.
January, February, March is more off peak, right? So we took it on a case by case basis. And I think that a lot of our clients resonated with our personal approach. And that's just how we are in general.
Because it's busy now. It's full.
It's full now. Yeah. Right now we're doing very well. God bless. Thank God. But coming out of COVID, it was insane because when they lifted the restrictions, we had the rescheduled events combined with the newly booked events.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I didn't turn my lights off for like 4 months straight because we're at a great intersection, a bunch of cities where we have Brampton, Mississauga, and Vaughan. So a lot of different ethnicities within a radius. And Le Jardin's right in the middle of it. 727, Brampton, Mississauga, you got King City, you got
Kleinburg.
Vaughan, Kleinburg, bunch of different ethnicities, bunch of different requirements from other ethnicities. And the Middle Easterns, the Indians, there's a lot of events that they host that are in the morning. They have the morning ceremonies. Sometimes they do it during the week, which is great. But we had the morning events transition to the night events and then morning events the next day. So I wasn't turning my lights off. We tear down, clean up, set up for months on end. It was like that.
Just to catch up.
Which was great. It was a fantastic thing. But, unfortunately, we had a lot of people quit. They couldn't handle it. But, because they couldn't handle the pressure, it was a lot. It was a lot of work. But, we came out swinging.